Update on my post about finding out my 26M girlfriend, 25F, cheated on me behind my back. So I lost access to my original account and can't find my original post, which was a week ago. But to recap, me and my girlfriend had been together for 3 years and I thought they were great. However, I learned the harsh truth when I discovered messages on her cell phone, when she left her cell phone at home and was going to bring it to work, between her and a coworker confirming they were at least emotionally cheating if not physical. I decided to confront her after taking advice and she got angry at me for looking at her phone. I again asked her to ask me about the text message and she refuses. I told her she had 2 weeks to get her stuff out. Only my name was on the lease, and she went into physically attacking me with threats to kill me. I had to lock myself in a room and call the cops, who arrested her. I am pressing charges for her assaulting me and am currently staying at my brother's house while she is taking her stuff back. I want to thank you all for this great advice and realizing it was a bullet dodged. Same thing happened to my friend. She cheated, attacked him and got removed by the cops. He's married with 2 kids now to another much better woman. Edit. Did not happen to me. I decided to confront her after taking advice and she got angry at me for looking at her phone. I've read this same line in almost every infidelity post in this sub. Why are cheaters' reaction to the confrontation always about the invasion of privacy? It's so repetitive. Get a restraining order. Make sure she is escorted by police when she goes to your place to get her stuff. Otherwise you may find your stuff destroyed or stolen. In fact, it may be better for you to pack her stuff and leave it with a mutual friend so she doesn't have access to your property. Good job. My only concern is that you're leaving her alone in your apartment to get her things, while you're staying elsewhere? She has already assaulted you. Be careful she doesn't assault your stuff, or better yet, steal it. Best of luck. Damn, that's scary. No matter what she says, make sure you go through with pressing charges so that there's a paper trail should she ever try to hurt you again, and b. you might save some other guy from the same fate. I hope a cop is escorting her to and from your place so she's not doing damage to the rental or stealing your belongings. Sorry this is happening to you. Hopefully she just fucks off to a life of misery. Well, at least the trash took itself out. Good on you. Don't even look back. She isn't worth even a thought on your part. Damn dude. I guess the silver lining is you can make a clean break from her. No kids or legal ties. Make sure you are never alone with her and document any and all further interactions until you can permanently block her from your life. Good luck moving forward. Holy smokes, you dodged a bullet. Be sure to get a restraining order and keep track of any and all your stuff. Watch all your accounts and everything. BF was diagnosed with herpes 3 months ago, I just found out. A few months into our monogamous, 27F, relationship, my boyfriend, 31M, started to use condoms for a few days. This was super weird to me because I have an IUD and we use that as BC. I asked him why and he said, I had some condoms and just wanted to see how they felt. I felt unsatisfied with his answer, but decided to trust him because I didn't see a reason not to. Fast forward 3 months later and he tells me that he was diagnosed with herpes 2 back in September, when he started using condoms. Not only did he lie about why he was using condoms, he chose to not tell me he has herpes. I feel so upset that he's been openly risking my health. We went back to having unprotected sex a few days after he started using condoms. He also said that he only found out because he went in for a routine blood test and the doc asked him if he wanted an STD test, which seems unlikely. My head is spinning and I don't know how to process this. I have a test scheduled for tomorrow, but what I need right now is advice. Have any of you dealt with this? TL, Dr. BF got diagnosed with herpes 3 months ago and didn't tell me. Edit. I woke up this morning to so many comments, messages. Thank you for your input, information, support. Really appreciated. I can't get to everyone's questions, but I am getting tested today and plan to get tested again later. I still haven't talked to him, but plan to later this week. We'll keep y'all updated. Thai Purple Heart. I don't want to be that person that jumps to dump him. But you have to really look at this. Can you build a future with someone who has so little regard for your physical health and well-being? The first thing was the fact that he lied to you about why he was wearing condoms, and the even scarier part is that after his diagnosis he still didn't tell you and even dropped using condoms. Even if he didn't infect you, that's not really here nor there. The idea that he knew all this and carried on like normal is actually really terrifying. HSV2 is not a standard test unless specifically requested on a STD panel. Regular STD checks don't include that unless there is a medical need. Pregnancy or someone presenting symptoms would be a medical need as an example. I could be in a relationship with someone who has HS2 even though I don't. I could not be in a relationship with someone who actively hid that information from me while sexually involved for any period of time. I went through something like this about a year ago. Don't let him gaslight you. He's not worth being around. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. Dump him. He put his sexual desire above your health. Herpes is forever. He isn't. Good luck to you. Seems like he cheated on you and found out he caught something. He risked your health in order to conceal the fact he has herpes, so he could carry on having sex with you. Please understand that. He lied to risk your health in order to get his dick wet. Dump him and get tested. I work in a MR that regularly does STI screenings and tests. We don't do blood work for herpes 99% of the time unless there's lesions, and even then we don't because you have herpes. Duh. Look. Dump the fuck out of this guy. You can sue someone for sexual battery for knowingly exposing you to an STI if you contract it from that exposure. Sexual battery. Your boyfriend sexually battered you. Let that sink in. Now that I, F30, am a parent, I deeply resent the people in my life who failed me as a child. Long story short, I had a rough childhood. Homeless, lived in shelters, slept in cars, physical abuse, abuse, domestic violence. You name it. My mom had full custody. So all of the traumas are her transgressions, but my dad never stepped in to take me from her. He didn't send child support, I know for a fact. He would send school clothes once a year and fund a trip for me to see him once a year. My dad didn't know the extent of the abuse, but if he hadn't been an absent parent he would have known. When I turned 18, I became extremely distant from my mom but would still visit every few years and answer her texts, calls. Since I didn't directly correlate my abuse to my dad's negligence, I cling to the idea of a relationship with at least one of my parents. I have been a mother now for 2 years. I feel immense responsibility towards my daughter. I have made countless sacrifices and would do anything to ensure that she is fed, housed and given all of the tools necessary to thrive. I work with my therapist, I take parenting classes, I work significant other I can pay the bills. I'm giving my child a stable home life. Things my parents neglected to give me. But it's instinctual, the drive I feel when I look at her. How could my parents fail me so? So now, I haven't spoken to my mother since a few months before I gave birth. I tried to address my feelings towards the things she put me through and she became defensive. Unwilling to even acknowledge my emotions and apologize. It appalls me that she is a mother and did what she did. When I gave birth, my dad started a regular mantra of, "You don't matter now. The only thing that matters is your daughter. You must sacrifice everything for her." He would tell me he no longer cares about me and only cares about my daughter. Same guy who didn't sacrifice shit for me. He started telling me he didn't approve of how I ended up and he wanted me to be a doctor. As if he did everything he could for me and I failed. It's years later and they've forgotten their wrongdoings and feel like my anger is coming out of left field. The stronger the bond with my daughter becomes, the angrier I get towards my own parents. How do I let bygones be bygones? Too long did not read. Now that I'm a parent, I resent my parents for being shitty parents. I didn't care before. You cut ties with your bio parents and walk off into the future of your own building. Leave the past in the past. They will never acknowledge your experiences. They are both too selfish. Just walk away and leave it all behind you. Oh, been there. It's so damn hard. I cut contact with my entire family and it was the best thing. Therapy is awesome. Set boundaries. Stick to your truth. Focus on yourself. Those who want the best for you will respect those boundaries and that truth. As another commenter said, it makes sense you feel more anger now that you have a child of your own. You would not put your child in the same situation both of your parents enabled. Feeling the love and responsibilities you have towards your own child puts a spotlight on all the times your parents didn't do the same for you. Your daughter is lucky to have you as a mom. We get told that our parents did the best they could in the circumstances they were in. I do wonder if that is true, because even though times were different, they still aren't doing everything to make it right now in these times. The time now where we do have the ability to acquire the emotional handles to make the right choices, for the people we love. So you don't have to let it go, only if you want to. Make your own happiness and cut your losses, I'd say. Same for me. 3 kids now, my oldest is 10. Being a mom really made me resent them. How could they bring a child into this world then not do everything to take care of it? It is horrible that they tell you to do things that they never did and more if what they had to do was to be parents. Pure hypocrisy. Good luck, fill your daughter's life with joy. 2 things. Fuck them. And I'm so proud of you for being a great mom after all you've been through. You deserve the best. You have no obligation to let bygones be bygones. I am so sorry that no safe adult stepped in to keep you safe when you were younger. You deserved so much better than that. Well done on breaking the cycle for your daughter, your love is evident. But your dad is wrong, she's not more important than you. You're both important and her arrival doesn't suddenly absolve your parents of their behavior. I, 21F, moved in with older male colleague. Dad is acting jealous and it's extremely creepy. I had a really strict upbringing and was never allowed to talk to or befriend males as my father would get livid over it. But recently I got a job, a receptionist at this law firm, and I've befriended a colleague. He heard about my upbringing and apparently it reminded him of a kid he used to foster, so he offered that I could share his apartment if I pay a third of the bills. His wife used to pay a third of bills and rent, but she lives away for work. So I agreed because getting some adult experience of like having a roommate would probably be a good experience. I didn't tell my dad he was a man because I knew he'd be angry, but when he found out he started calling me a WHRE and a SLT and saying that I was a typical woman and that I have no loyalty to him or to our relationship, and that I was a cheating bitch before he knew he was already demanding a key and the security code and calling me every hour and a half. He tried to show up to the apartment and called my roommate a SLT stealing pig and I'm freaked out. He seems jealous in a romantic way and it's really weird and uncomfortable. I feel like I need some advice but I don't know who to talk to. It's extremely uncomfortable and I'm really worried. Have you ever thought of cutting off your father and getting a restraining order? His behavior is extremely scary. This is not normal behavior for anyone, and for a father it is doubly abnormal to the point where you may need to get the police involved. Or consider a restraining order. That said, it's a bit weird to move in with a married male colleague while his wife is out of town. Is his wife cool with it? Does he expect something more than being roommates? It's not exactly a standard adult experience, to be honest. Honestly, your father is a danger to you. His behavior is not healthy nor normal. You probably need to visit a mental health professional and file a restraining order. I had to scroll back up and read from top again. Thought I'd read wrong and that you meant you were talking about an ex-boyfriend and not your father. And I feel like that in itself alone is saying something. You need to document this and get a restraining order, also cut him off. No contact. Sorry to ask direct questions, but has your dad ever been inappropriate with you? Honestly, this is so strange and wrong and I think you should cut him off and get a restraining order. This is not normal at all and you shouldn't have to deal with this. I hope you're okay. Cut him off. Also, is your mum still in the picture, and if she's not, how did it end? Because he seems like he's projecting and tried to make you a new girlfriend. I don't want to scare you, but I think you need to know this. There was a recent stabbing in my country because this girl's father and brother didn't like the man she was dating, so they stabbed her. I would absolutely cut contact with your father in the safest way by moving out of your current housing situation and to somewhere where your dad doesn't know the address. He sounds very unstable.